were live with Alexa Martin. For some reason, we got disconnected. I'm not too sure what's happened there. Thank you very much for your patience and for the inconvenience this has caused you. We're going to be getting Alexa back on. Let me see if I can invite her back. Okay, we are back.
We're back.
Yes, we are back. Unfortunately, the that part of the video we lost. We lost that video now because usually that goes on to IGTV. That can be continually left to be played. So yeah, that video is not there because it just the app. I had to close the app to get out of the app.
Yeah.
So
well, that means the people who joined, they were like, once in a lifetime. No one else can ever see what we said again. They got it, and that's it.
exactly. Those were the lucky few. There were quite a few people who were online. So the lucky few who got a bunch of golden nuggets and everything. So just for the IGTV as well, say because it's going to be left on there. Do you mind just letting everybody know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, and we just catch up on short conversation from there.
Yes, also for anyone who's like just watching this on IGTV, we just did a whole live for like 40 minutes and then we lost it all. So we're running it back. I am a mindset coach, mindset and life coach. And should I retell my story? I got
if go for it.
High level. I got introduced to mindset just through my own healing journey. Previously very high anxiety, had experienced an eating disorder, was just constantly looking to things outside of myself for validation. And mindset just changed my life, changed my relationship with myself, my relationship with other people. And now we're here.
and that's been an amazing journey that obviously the lucky few got to hear as well. So in regards to the mindset that you've now are on this journey, successful journey as well, what changes have you noticed? I know you have a 5-step in your bio to say no. Was that part of your journey that you've strongly feel that you need to share with everybody?
Yeah, well, I mean, saying no and setting boundaries have definitely played a role in my journey and in the journeys of literally everyone I coach. Boundaries are so important, right? Like I was saying before, we need boundaries in order to show up as our most powerful selves, right? I always say, like, filled cups fill cups. You can't be pouring from a half empty cup. I mean, you can, but if you do so, you're just going to be giving like half your capacity, right? Think about like how much more creative you could be if you were at your full cup capacity. Think about how much more loving and present and joyful you could be if you're at your full cup capacity. So we need boundaries. That has played a role in my journey and in the journeys of everyone that I coach. But in terms of, changes that I've seen in my life, I'll call out like a few big ones. Honestly, one of the biggest ones is just this unconditional self-love and unconditional self-worthiness, right? So even if, let's say, I go a week without working out, I'll just use that as an example. I never beat myself up. Even if I say something to my parents or my partner that I didn't mean and I'm not proud of, I never beat myself up, which has been one of the biggest shifts for me. Because we think we need to shame ourselves because we're scared of doing, those things again. But we can't grow from a place of shame. And when you actually instead, look at the parts of yourself that you're not proud of with so much compassion and love, that's when you start to make change. That's when you start to grow. So when you can look at those things you've done that you typically would regret and just be like, you know what, Alexa, I was doing the best I can. And today I'm going to do better. So learning how to just love myself no matter what has been a huge shift for me. And then because of that, how I just show up for other people, right? How I used to just be such an emotional reactor. Like, we're slamming doors and we're yelling at people and we're feeling resentful and we're gossiping and binge drinking and all those things. And I really don't do any of that at all anymore, like literally ever. So huge shifts. And that's really just like kind of the start of it. But there are tons that I could talk about.
Those are very huge, obviously, shifts that you've just shared with us, and that's an amazing journey from where you were to where you are now. And thank you for sharing this. And that's all to do with the mindset, right? That you just took step to do that. I know you shared in the previous episode, which we lost, was that there was one book that you was shared with you to be read. Do you know what the title is of that book? Do you
Yeah.
remember?
No, it's called Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron. He's a CrossFit Games coach. I don't know if you know the CrossFit Games, but he coaches like really successful athletes, and a lot of what he coaches is grounded in mindset work. So, yeah, it's the book isn't like very deep or anything. It's short and it's very just like motivational. You read it and you're like, okay, yeah, I can change my life. Like I got this.
Oh, that's good. So I love books like those, So once you read it and then you go, yeah, I can do this too. I can do it. You know. And what I always say is, if somebody else, how I look at things, if that person can do it, you can do it as well. Because we are all capable of doing it. We are stopping ourselves from doing that thing or achieving that thing by limiting ourselves. We talked about saying no, but we are saying no to ourselves instead of saying no to others, right? We're looking to please everybody else. We're saying yes to everybody, to whatever things we don't really want to do, but we are just there. Oh yeah, for appearances, right? We need to be there. Oh yeah, I'll turn up. Okay, don't really want to be there. It's okay to say no. Nothing will happen. It's okay. Because you need to look after yourself. And I love that you touched upon, the filled cups scenario as well. And yes, it's 100% true that filled cups are the only cups that will pour and fill the other cups, because you need to be full yourself. You need to be joyful yourself. You need to be peaceful by yourself. You need to be in peace as well. So you need to know what's happened. Everything is good. Then you are out there helping others and pouring out there what you have, access of things, and you can go and help. A lot of people are just take, but then I just think it's how society has designed everybody to be is by creating that lack mindset of that you have to keep chasing everything. There's not enough of everything. Go and do this, go and do that. That's when the only way you will get it. And then what we are doing is, because we have that scarcity mindset in terms of there's lack of everything, we are just chasing it, and we're not realizing that we have quite a lot if we just stop and take stock. Just look at ourselves, what we have. Right? We have a lot. There's I'm going to use the example of money. There's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of wealth out there, which is going around, right? You just need to know where it is. The reason we don't see it, because we're not taught how to see it. Because if we are able to see it, the 1% who already play with it, they don't want you to be playing with it. That's what it is, right? And a lot of mindset comes with that. And you being now an entrepreneur, you are seeing most of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I also think after a certain income level, right? This is only after a certain income level that we actually hide deeper fears behind this lack mindset. And I'm not saying that the lack mindset isn't real. It is. It's very real for a lot of people. But I think that oftentimes we actually hide deeper fears behind it. So entrepreneurs, for example, will say, well, I'm scared that I'm not going to make enough money and I'm going to be broke. And, when you ask them, like, are you really scared of that? Like, honestly, are you really scared of that? The answer is, this is not for everyone, but I've come across it a lot. No, a lot of people do have friends or family that could help them out. Like, the fear of being homeless on the street is not real for them. And we hide our deeper fears as entrepreneurs behind that. This is where like the fear of failure can come in, the fear of having to be dependent on others, right? This fear of whatever it may be that we've attached our sense of worthiness to being taken away from us. So I just wanted to call that out. And I think a lot of this comes into one, redefining what success is for yourself, right? May it not be in terms of money or accomplishment or whatever it may be, but can success be like how you show up in this world, what presence you bring to this world, what love you bring to this world, how peaceful you feel, whatever it may be. So redefining success for yourself and then developing this sense of unconditional self-worthiness from within. Because if you've attached your sense of worthiness to people liking you, it's really, really hard to say no. Because you're not just talking about saying no anymore, you're talking about feeling worthy as an individual, right? So you have to start to look at where have you attached your sense of worthiness to, which is going to come down to where you receive love and attention growing up. So a few things there is like developing unconditional self-worthiness from within, being honest with yourself about your, your true fears. And I can't remember what the other one was, but, scroll back 2 minutes and you'll hear it.
That's actually a great share as well, and thank you for elaborating more onto it. It's an amazing that I think what I caught there was the self-worthiness. A lot of fears are attached to that. Just having that self-worthiness, is am I able to, or would I able to sustain what they are already doing, right? And that's what it is. So since you've been on this journey, have you come across a client or an example that you are able to share that you would like, oh, I don't see this very often, that was a win or a loss, or be like, what's this?
That's interesting. Well, I had one really, I feel like I can't share that actually. I'm trying to think of like
Well, without giving names out then.
Like safe way. That's interesting. I worked with someone who was facing a lot of anxiety about certain health conditions. They were just like at a time in their life where they were experiencing a lot of things related to health, and it was super interesting. He said to me, he's like, Alexa, like, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm really not. Because that would be like, what would be easy to attach. Oh, he's scared of dying. That's why he's having anxiety about all these health issues. It's like, I'm not afraid of dying. So like, I don't know what it is. I have so much anxiety and so many worries and so much fear about all these health issues, but I'm not afraid of dying. I'm like, okay, perfect. Like, let's, I love, like, as a coach, I'm like, let's start digging, start digging out that shovel. And what it came down to was really this loss of control that he was resisting, right? It wasn't the fear of dying. It was this loss of control, which I find a lot with people, right? We love control. We love certainty. We love predictable known outcomes because they're safe. And we've created a lot of safety in control. And so when you have that control taken from you, there can be a lot of resistance. And so we had to do a lot of work on learning how to, one, really only direct your attention on what is actually within your control. So rather than spiraling and worrying about all these things that aren't within your control anyway, letting those go and embracing the uncertainty, right? And there's tons of different ways that we do that and work on that, and it takes time. But yeah, really diving into the loss of control.
I love that, and thank you very much for sharing this story. Actually, the when you mentioned the uncertainty of control, it is something that I actually had it, but without knowing it. I always thought that I'm a very calm, laid back person. So calm that a lot of people worry about me sometimes. So, that nothing phases you. What's happening? The house might be burning down, but that would be me just calmly walking out, or waiting outside. Like, oh, I have my things and I'm already out. So it always comes across that I'm prepared for everything. But in general, I am well, I don't like to say I'm reacting to life every time, but I am taking the steps that life is throwing at me. I'm like, okay, this is the step I will take. So I am okay with making decisions and being with it. So which came to as I am liking being in control of my life, right? And and what I did not like was if I would not have control of these things. So there was one person who actually got me. I was like one day having this another coach and having coach and coach talking to each other, and then she identified that I do have, and the anxiety that I do now and then come across, which I don't recognize, was what will happen if I am not able to take that decision, or if something is not worth my decisions. Because I was just saying, I don't take decisions, or I will not go forward with something I don't know the outcome of.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was something that I just like, I never knew that was a thing, right? So it was just like, yeah, that's how I do things. I'm very happy. My cup's full. It's so full that I'm pouring it out now. So I'm helping everybody else for a long time. But what I said there was, yeah, but I don't go forward with anything which I have no control of. So if I don't know what the results are, I'm like, yep, thank you very much. I'm not doing that. I'll continue here because I know the pros and cons. If I don't know the pros and cons, I cannot do it. But I think that was put into me systematically with my corporate role that I was doing, because I helped my company in predicting what their sales would be like, and forecasting what their quarters would be like, what their year should be like, and then going about achieving that, right? And that's kind of was what I was using in my personal life as well, those formulas to make decisions. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's happening there. No, not going to do it. Let's continue doing this. And it's so amazing that you've just touched upon it. It's a common theme that I've come across as well, which is out there, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you really miss out on so much possibility when you only allow yourself to experience known outcomes. And you also just create so much resistance within yourself when things start to go off plan, right? Because you created so much safety in predictability so that when things that aren't happening within your control that are unknown outcomes, you lose your mind. And so it's so important to learn how to just like embrace the unknown of the world, knowing that you'll never know what's on the other side until you take that step into the unknown, until you do those scary things, right? You'll never know what's on the other side. And it's like you have two choices in life. You can either stay safe and stay small and stay where you are, or you can take those steps and see what's out there.
Exactly, and that's so amazing that what you just touched on there. Now, the growth is actually taking that step. Everybody says, getting out of your comfort zone, but what if you are already out of your comfort zone, but then you've created another comfort zone within that another, step out that you've just taken, right? And that's what I was literally doing. So even though I was thinking that oh yeah, I'm breaking boundaries. I'm going, I'm stepping out of my comfort zones and all that stuff. But then I was creating another comfort zone within that barrier, right? I would create a comfort barrier around me, and then I'll stay there until I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I think I'm ready to move on to do something else now, and then I'll like open the door and like, okay, yeah, let's do this now. And that, as you said, because of that, I was missing out quite a lot of things that would have been amazing for myself, but a lot of opportunities were on my way, but I never recognized any of those just because I was in that barrier of my own. So not a comfort zone, but still a barrier that was stopping me from growing. Since I've let those go, and I've been able to recognize so many things, they come across my path now, and I'm able to grow tremendously. It's about, as you just said, it's about taking those steps and go and do it and taking the actions, right?
Totally, totally. Yeah, and I love what you touched on. Honestly, that growth is just this ongoing process. It's like you grow and you grow and you grow, and then you break through and you're like, "Poof," now you're on the next level. And then you grow and you grow and you grow and grow, and then "Poof," next level, right? It's just constantly leveling up, constantly an ongoing process. And it's really learning how to honestly just embrace the discomfort and embrace the fears because they never go away, right? Oprah Winfrey, she's scared. Tony Robbins, scared. I'm scared. You're scared. Everyone's scared. The fears never go away. It's learning how to just fully embrace that and almost view like everything as like this little challenge and this little playing field of life, and just constantly be getting to that next level, right? Growth never ends. Once you start this whole personal development work, there's no going back. It's like you just keep on going.
That's yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Once you are on this journey, it just opens up so many other doors as well, that you are, learning so many new things that are out there, and which, a lot of systems don't teach you. So you are creating your new system because you're like, oh, I didn't know this was available. I didn't know this can happen. I can do this. I can do that. There's so many options that you come across, right? And you're like, wow, why was I just stuck in a routine of waking up in the morning, doing the things I needed to do for other people so that I can do something on the weekend, or everything I do so that I can have my holidays or vacation for a week or two, and then go back to that routine. Nothing wrong with that. There's lots of successful people in that routine, but then it just depends on, that's the comfort zone they stay in, and then not grow anymore. They think that is the growth they have, and that's it. But yeah, once you have those, if you step on the journey, but the key was to take actions, right? Also, once you are on that journey, I do come across a lot of people who are hungry for just learning, 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 and they're on the journey of learning from all these amazing coaches out there. But then, what about all this learning? When are we gonna implement it and
Yeah.
see, see
Yeah.
the plants, fruit from it, right?
Right. This was so me. I literally read like, I swear, 100 mindset books, and was like listening to so many podcasts, like just consume, 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 but I wasn't doing anything. And I actually see this all the time in the personal growth space, where people just consume, 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 which is great because that is like reprogramming your subconscious mind. And the more you surround yourself with all of this great knowledge and, you know, all these different ways to level up, the more you'll slowly start to embrace that in your life. But if you really want to accelerate change in your life, you have to actually do something. So it's like so many personal growth books and podcasts will give you tips on what to do, and you listen to them and you never do it, right? So instead of just consuming more and more and more and more, just pick one thing that you're going to start to actually do. One thing. Like after this, leave this live, go do one thing. Actually make a change in your life, right? Don't just hang up and carry on like nothing happened, because nothing's going to ever change. So it's like, just go do one thing. The next time you read a book, pick one thing you're going to try really hard to implement for a whole week and see how it goes. Because if you just keep consuming and not taking any action, like nothing's going to change for you.
I love that. I love that. Thank you very much for sharing that. It's just, as I say, I love driving. So the thing that came to my mind when you were saying that is, you think of all these great destinations to go to, like, to the beach, to the city, wherever you want to go. But what you have to do, you have to get up and get into the car and then drive that car, right? So otherwise, that destination is just there. You can just keep talking about it, how amazing it is. You can look at the pictures of it on internet, and that's about it. You can physically never be there unless you get up, get into the car, and then drive the car and be there. And that's what it is. So life needs those actions of you getting up and moving about, and do the actions that are required to be what you need to be, do what you need to be doing necessary, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I would like to say thank you very much for your time today, even though we lost quite a lot of episodes that we had earlier we talked about. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on to Tuesday Talks. Is there anything you would like to say to everybody before we close it off?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I mean, you know what? Everyone that listens, DM me one thing that you're going to do starting today to change your life. That's what I want everyone to do, which I know is a scary thing because I'm just some stranger on the internet and you might do it. But just DM me one thing you're going to commit to doing to change your life starting today. And it's scary because you're like, oh, that means I actually have to do it. And this weird girl might ask me if I did it, but just do it. It could change your life. So that's what we're ending with.
I love it. I love it. Yes, everybody's, as you've heard, just DM Alexa what you're gonna do after this video, what you're doing. And I also want to add a little bit more to it. If you found this video inspiring, that what you've watched so far, and you found it inspiring, or if you're catching up on IGTV and you're finding it inspiring, share it with someone, because it's our duty to share all those things that we find inspiring with others, because we do not know who's woken up or gone to bed today thinking of a better tomorrow, right? Or better today. So share it with someone, and it might just spark that creativity, inspire that step that they'll be thinking of taking. We never know, and you might be just the person who has started that by just sharing the video if you found it inspiring. And thank you very much, Alexa, as well. Hopefully everybody DMs you shortly, so we see how that goes. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take a selfie here, so we just smile for a few seconds.
Yeah.
I'll become a